Alright, it's DBJ, and this is part 2 of my 10 ways not to kill the party. This one is going to be about using intelligent creatures, especially creatures that are far more powerful than the party members. This is just a personal note, I don't particularly like to use equal level encounters for equal level party members. I love throwing in a creature that is far above the character's level every now and again, just to let them know, the players know, that they are not, it's not a video game, in that sometimes you're going to need to use intelligence and, sometimes, the better part of valor is that's running. Now, of course, that won't be every time, and a lot of times, especially with more powerful creatures and ones that are very intelligent, you can really get some emotional impact in that. A really classic story, especially with like Hong Kong action, and the old karate flicks was young kid sees his family get killed by the warlord. Kid says, "I swear I'm going to kill you." Takes 15 years to train in martial arts, comes back, kills the warlord. Well, it could be the same thing in, classic D&D and some other games. Hey, I'm first level, bastard's going to die. When I get 20th level, I'm going to kill the pit fiend that did it. All right? So, and the only way you can really do that is to insert some of these powerful creatures. But at the same time, just like in superhero games and D&D, the characters are the heroes, and chances are they're going to want to confront this powerful entity. First level characters are going to want to take on the Minotaur. They're going to want to take on the Medusa. They're going to want to take on the dragon. If the dragon's there, it's got stats, they're going to want to kill it, whether they have the ability to do it or not. And it's not very often that player characters go, you know what, I think I'm going to run because, the dragon, yeah, I Hershey squirted in my pants and I don't like the feeling. That's not a very common reaction. So, as a DM or GM, storyteller, flame tender, here's some ways, my top 10 ways of not killing the players off without really having to fudge dice and, those kind of things. Especially if you do it organically, they won't even notice. All right, number one, and the most common one, are the powerful entity takes them as slaves. Okay, so instead of just the Drow elf party or Drow elf party assaults the characters, instead of just killing them off and man, I thought this was equal, but they're just wiping the floor of my player characters. Instead, they take them as slaves. Okay, that's an easy thing. Boom, all the players are taken out, and the next game starts with them waking up as slaves in shackles. And then you can start the game where they have to get together and they escape, and there's other slaves there. Great idea. Okay, used often, and to me, it's not overused. I think it's a great idea, and it also leads to other stories, and it's a great way for the players to have limited resources and think of ways to escape and get out of a situation as opposed to putting themselves into one. Number two would be, similar to slaves, are hostages. The PCs surrounded before they're killed, they're taken as hostages and used as either a way to negotiate or maybe used to gain information from them, or maybe the intelligent creature doesn't know what to do yet. They could be convinced that the player characters are the first wave of a larger army, and so they take them as hostages and are waiting to do something later. And this could be a possible way for the players to, again, escape, talk to their captors, find out that there's even a bigger bad behind the scenes, and just make your stories more dramatic. Number three, as I said, most of these are going to be linked together, but number three would be information and testing. And so the big baddie, let's say there's a Medusa and she's got an army of goblinoids or something, and she wants to know what the players are up to. She wants to know their capabilities. So she throws a horde of goblins and some kobolds and, you know, her orc lieutenants after the player characters, and stays in the background to test their abilities. You may even have a good aligned creature that attacks the party and wants to test their resolve, wants to test how powerful they are. Once the more powerful creature finds out what their capabilities are, then makes a decision thereof. Maybe the Medusa just ignores them and goes, they're just villagers. They're no big deal. Let's just go about our business. Maybe the good aligned creature stops the attack and says, you know, you need to prepare yourself more. I'm going to point you in the right direction to people who can give you the skills and information necessary to take out the greater evil. Number 4 would be sacrifices. Powerful creature comes in. The Pit Fiend attacks the 3rd level characters. Pit Fiend drags them off and uses them as a sacrifice. Always great with cults to a dark god. There's always some goblinoids that love to worship some dark gods. Some very intelligent undead liches and death knights and things. And so instead of ultimately just killing the characters off in one fell swoop, they're captured, they're going to be dragged off. One by one, they're going to be sacrificed. Perfect opportunity to start sacrificing off some NPCs that are maybe in a cage with them. And they're like, oh, there's 3 away from us. Okay, we better think of something else and get the hell up out of here. All right. Number 5 is when it's going to be really strange, and I think you guys may find it strange, is love, affection, and addiction. Okay? Imagine yourself a Medusa, and she falls for one of the party members. And so instead of slaughtering and killing off and turning to stone the whole party, instead she allows the party to leave, but wants maybe the noble and very good-looking metrosexual fighter to stay behind. The Pit Fiend, instead of slaughtering the characters, maybe there's someone in there with a dark heart. And the Pit Fiend, instead of killing them all, says, hey, I'd like you to stick around. You could be very useful to me. In literature, there's many opportunities where a person is turned into a creature due to love and affection or some kind of addiction to the player characters. Excellent with vampire, you know, the classic vampire story. Vampire lives forever, sees another player character. That player character reminds them of their lost love, and so now wants to possess them. And so the more powerful creature, instead of just killing the party off, roll a couple dice and kill them off, instead wants to protect that character and the party in their own bizarre kind of way. And also could create some very interesting stories when one of the PCs has a Medusa as a love interest. All right. Another one could be misidentity, and misidentity would be the Medusas living in the abandoned castle up on a hill. The player characters go up there to confront the Medusa. The Medusa thinks that they are sent by a rival kingdom and instead realizes that they are independent characters and that they're really there just to investigate. They didn't know whether there was a Medusa there or not. They're just to investigate. And so the more powerful creature decides to leave them alone because of some kind of misidentity. Maybe a good aligned creature mistakenly thinks that they are holy knights and then realizes that they are just common villagers that were going on an adventure. Oh, sorry, didn't realize, thought you were somebody else, and then leaves them alone. Misidentity could also work another way, where the more powerful creature thinks that they are far less powerful than noted, and instead of trying to slaughter them, just approaches them as if they were commoners and goes, you know, I'm the evil Medusa, please leave my castle now and never come back. And then walks away from the player characters, and the player characters are going, that was a perfect opportunity to kill us all. All she said was just leave. Could be a misidentity. Number 7 would be cowardice, retreat, and reorganization. And that would be where the more powerful creature wants to run away and retreat, similar to Misidentity, because they feel that the party members may have some information that even the party members don't know about. An example would be, let's use the Medusa again. The Medusa hears the party members coming. She throws her little minions after them. She runs away screaming, gathers some of her things, and slinks through a hallway and runs. Player characters are like, wait a minute. That Medusa could wipe the floor up with us. Maybe further information shows that the Medusa thought that they were another party of hunter-killers that have been on the Medusa's tail for months now, and thought that they were the player characters, and so decides to run away, retreat, reorganize. Right? Could also be that the party may have something that's quite vulnerable, that makes the other creature quite vulnerable. So, party member has a mirror, doesn't realize there's a Medusa there. The Medusa runs away. They go, oh my God, there was a Medusa here. Why'd she run? One of the party members goes, maybe it's because of this mirror I was looking at myself with, because I am beautiful. Could be something like that. Number 8 would be hit and run tactics. A more powerful creature may be very intelligent as well, say a drow hunting party. And so that drow hunting party uses hit and run tactics. They attack the party and then they leave. They attack the party and leave. And each attack devastates the group, but the player characters are like, why didn't they, they could have finished us off, but they didn't. Intelligent creature using hit and run tactics, knowing that, hey, I can do a lot of damage and get the hell out of there and not receive any damage back. I don't want them throwing fireballs over the hill or around the corner. Boom, throw some poison darts, get the hell up out of there. Same thing with the Medusa. Medusa can surprise the party members, turn 2 of them to stone, run, surprise another party member, turn them to stone, run. That could be very frustrating for the players, but very rewarding for Medusa, trying to survive out in a tough world. Number 9 would be just ignore the party. A pit fiend against 3rd level characters? What the hell? Just ignore them. Player characters still want to poke the pit fiend. Pit fiend sits back like, dude, there's nothing you could do to me. I wipe my ass with characters that are 3rd level. That's how much I don't need you guys around. Some powerful characters don't need to display their power. Pit fiend just teleports away. Dragon just swipes his tail. They just ignore the party members. Now, that's going to piss a bunch of party members off. Your PCs are going to just feel like, what the hell? They're just ignoring me? Yes, the Storm Giant is ignoring you. Yes, your arrows are pelting it in the ankle, and it ignores you. But that would also, can create some animosity and create some really, really good opportunities to make a bad guy that the players really hate. There's nothing worse than not just being hated, but just being ignored, in real life and in the game. And the last one would be parlay, making deals. Sometimes a powerful creature needs agents and may make a deal with the party members. Say the Medusa is like, you know what? There's a drow elf hunting party around here. I'll make you a deal. Help me hunt them down because they are trying to hunt me down. I will make a deal with you. The pit fiend. Sell your soul to me, and I will lead you on to greater glory. So, making deals and parlay. And anyway, these are my top 10 ways not to kill the party members, especially when you introduce a very powerful creature or as well as being very intelligent. So, I hope this was helpful to you guys. Again, kind of rambly, but if you bother looking at any of my videos, I'm pretty much rambly all the time. But I try not to put on airs. I try to keep my language pretty clean too. And as you see, I always like to wear my my wizard's robe. I've got my grays. Long beards have the grays, and give you guys a little bit of little insight into what I do. So, anyway, thanks a lot. Thanks for even subscribing to anything I got to say. So, as always, create, don't destroy, guys. Thank you very much for your attention.